is the best in actions? Do you think that do you think that you can just come and say that I believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I believe in the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, I have a set of principles that I follow in my life, and those principles are not going to be put to the test? Of course, these things are all well known in our lives. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tests us with those things that we recognize as tests. Whenever we see poverty, whenever we see some sort of difficulty, death, illness, all of these things we recognize in the first place. And this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tests us through those things that are good for us and those things that we can recognize that are bad for us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, وَنَبْلُوَكُمْ بِالشَّرِّ وَالْخَيْرِ فِتْنَةً, that we will test you in both good and bad as a trial for you. We will take you through both the good things and the bad things. Just because you are going through a time of affluence, just because you are going through a time of ease, just because everything is going your way, doesn't necessarily mean that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has turned a blind eye to you, that the test has somehow stopped and you are no longer going through that trial that is this life for the hereafter. Tamam? If we recognize that, we recognize the Mursaleen وَخَيْرُ خَلْقِهِ خَلْقِ اللَّهِ أَجْمَعِينَ, that the best of the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the best of mankind, which is Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, in spite of his status, in spite of his level, in spite of his closeness with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, still went through trials and tribulations with regards to this dunya. And he would say, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that أَشَدُّ النَّاسِ بَلَاءً, that the people that are going through the most severe tests and trials are the Anbiya, ثُمَّ الْأَمْثَلُ فَالْأَمْثَلُ, then those who are closest to them, and those who are closest to them with regards to their character and their iman and their unwavering connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if this is correct for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then we will also go through it. But what's even more amazing is that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam will go through certain things that if we were to go through the same things, wallahi al-azim, our iman will be in question. We may not even come out of those same tests as believers. فَتَنْقَلِبُ عَلَىٰ أَعْقَابِكُمْ. Are you going to do this? In many ayat in the Quran. Because these tests and trials are such that will turn a person away. Now, why did this happen to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? It could be asked. Why is it that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is ashaddu nasi bala, is the one who is going through the most tests in spite of the fact that he is the most beloved to Allah? The reason why that is because if our life is a test, universal, for me and for you and for everybody, and at the same time we look at the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam for guidance, for inspiration, for motivation, for solace and peace, and we see that in his life he goes through the worst of tests, that means that if he went through the worst of tests and he is the most beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then my test, no matter how severe I may think it is going to be a walk in the park. And that was a recognition of the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Then this test that I'm going through, this difficulty that I'm going through, is also a manifestation of the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala towards us. It's a in which we use to traverse through the difficulties in life. And we recognize that no matter where we are, no matter what stage of life we're in, no matter how we are, no matter how well we're doing or how badly we're doing, we are being tested by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala nonetheless. For every level, there is a different devil, as a wise man once said to me once. So we traverse through life like that. I'll tell you a story of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a well-known story of when he went to At-Ta'if. And everybody knows this story as well from the Sirah. It's one of the most severest of instances. And wallahi al-azim, if I was employed to do this work, and I was given the bringing them to Islam, so he goes and he gives Tamam? But the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what does he say? What does he say? Tamam? But the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what does he say? What does he say in this particular moment? He turns to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this moment, making dua, and listen to what he says. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahumma ilayka ashku da'fa quwwati. Oh Allah, unto you do I complain the weakness of my power. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Literally, just before this, or just after this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends the angel of the mountains to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Or Jibreel comes and tells the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has seen what your people have done to you, and He has sent the angel of mountains ready to do your bidding and act at your command. You say the word, and these two mountains will come together and squish these people and turn them into dust. And He says, no, لَعَلَّ اللَّهَ يُخْرِجُ مِنْ أَصْلَابِهِمْ مَنْ يَعْبُدُ اللَّهَ لَا يُشْرِكُ بِهِ شَيْئًا. No, because there may be some people from their progeny that are going to come, that are going to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and not associate any partners with Him. Far-reaching sight, foresight for the future, has a plan, has an objective, has a goal that the Prophet ﷺ is trying to reach. But here he is saying, Allahumma ilayka ashku da'fa quwwati. I am reaching out to you, Ya Allah, because I am powerless. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, that has been given the keys to the unseen, that has access to Jibreel, has access to things that we can't even see. The angels in the mountains are doing his biddings. There are other junud of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that are ready to do the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam's bidding. But here he is standing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, Ya Allah, ilayka ashku da'fa quwwati. I am powerless. Wa qillati hilati. And my helplessness and lowliness before man. Wa hawani ala nas. I don't have any power over anybody else. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has sahaba that would describe that if he was just to spit, his saliva would not land on the floor except that there was a hand to catch it. They would fight over the remainders of his wudu, so that they would make wudu from it or they would drink from it. They would collect his sweat sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and put it in their perfume and their candles for it to be scented in their homes. This is the reverence that they gave the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and here Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is turning around and saying that I am helpless and I'm lowly in front of man. Ya arhamar rahimin, O the most merciful. Anta rabbul mustad'afin, you are the Lord of those who are in weakness. Wa anta rabbi, and you are my Lord, meaning that I am the one in weakness. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. How can this be that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is in a state of weakness? إلى من تكلني إلى بعيد يتهجمني. Are you going to leave me with someone who is far away from you and far away from your mercy? So he is going to be mean to me and be hostile towards me. أو إلى عدو ملكته أمري. Or are you going to leave me with an enemy that is going to be in control of my affairs, so he's going to ruin me? إن لم يكن بك غضب علي فلا أبالي. As long as you, Ya Allah, are not angry with me, then I don't care about anything else on this earth. فلا أبالي ولكن عافيتك هي أوسع لي. But rather your generosity, your forgiveness, your countenance is far greater for me to want. أعوذ بنور وجهك الذي أشرقت به الظلمات. I seek refuge in you, Ya Allah, and in your light that has illuminated all of darkness. وَصَلُحَ عَلَيْهِ أَمْرُ الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ. And it is made right all of the affairs of this world and the next. مِنْ أَن تُنَزِّلَ بِي غَضَبُكَ أَوْ تَحُلَّ بِي سَخَطُكَ. So that I am not encompassed, I seek refuge in you, in what is made correct in the dunya and the akhirah, so that your anger does not descend upon me, nor does your disappointment encompass me. لَكَ الْعُتْبَى, you are the sole purpose, you are the sole goal, Ya Allah, to reach to. حَتَّى تَرْضَى, until you are pleased, Ya Allah. وَلَا حَوْلَ وَلَا قُوَّةَ إِلَّا بِكَ, and there is no power and no might except with you. These are the words of the Prophet ﷺ with regards to his own ibtila'at. See how he responds to it and see how he speaks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now take a look at yourself, Ya Abdullah. Take a look at yourself and how you respond to your own trials and tribulations and challenges that you face in your life. What is your response to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? How do you reach out and how do you speak to Him? Is it that you complain? Is it that you complain that what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put you through? Do you complain to Him? Or do you complain about Him to other people? Why you are put through these positions and why you are put through these challenges? Look at your own selves, Ya Abdullah, and look at the status and the way in which the Prophet ﷺ reacts and responds to his own ibtila'at. In that will be your salvation. In that will be your ultimate guidance. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to benefit from that. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. بسم Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala wa ba'd. Ibadallah, the pertinence of this topic is key for us today because we look around us and we see the world on fire. Our brothers and sisters, in spite of all that ceasefire nonsense, still going through problems in Gaza. Our brothers in Lebanon still rebuilding. Our brothers and sisters in Sudan still struggling with their problems. The world is on fire with regards to our Muslim brothers and sisters. The Muslims and the Ummah are in despair at this point in time. And if you come over the English channel over here to the UK, we are facing our own set of challenges as well. We are struggling from gang violence, we're struggling from substance abuse and drug abuse, we're struggling from domestic violence and all sorts of issues that are in the Muslim community, most of which are brushed under the carpet, as is the Pakistani way. Astaghfirullah, I don't mean that in any particular way, but I am also Pakistani, so no disclaimers there. But generally speaking, it's brushed under the carpet, and this can't be the Muslim way. We need to rise up to our challenges. We need to rise up to the ibtila'at, the tests that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts us through, so that we react in a way that is befitting and react in a way that is in accordance with the sunnah of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that we rise up to those challenges and overcome them. Because even after Ta'if, what happened at the end of the life of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, all of Ta'if started to say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. They all became Muslims in spite of that challenge that he went through, and that was as a result of his reaction sallallahu alaihi wasallam to that test. So what is our reaction going to be to our challenges? That will be the outcome bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the tawfiq to be able to rise up to those challenges, rise up to the responsibilities, and be responsible Muslims as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wishes us to be. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow ease for all of our lives, inshaAllah ta'ala, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make our difficulties easy for us. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما يا رب العالمين ووفقنا يا كريم لكل عمل تحبه وترضاه. اللهم انصر إخواننا المستضعفين في فلسطين وفي سوريا وفي لبنان وفي السودان وفي كل مكان يا رب العالمين. اللهم وفقهم لكل خير. اللهم اجعلهم ناصرين واجعلنا منتصرين لهم يا أرحم الراحمين. وصل اللهم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. عباد الله رحمكم الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. واذكروا الله العلي الجليل يذكركم واشكروه يزدكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون.